Hi, shalom friends. You know, we have all kinds of tests to measure intelligence. And we have tests, aptitude tests, and tests that get you into college and Ivy League college and so on and so forth. And each one of those tests has serious deficiencies. I once heard a very interesting definition of intelligence, which I'll share with you. Intelligence is the ability to know what to do when you don't know what to do. Think about that for a moment, and that will lead me to my second statement. Who would you define as someone being smart? My answer would be someone who follows an intelligent person. So, for example, there are intelligent people, very intelligent people, who are proficient in their field, whether they be first responders, whether they be in IT, or for that matter, whether they be in plumbing or electricity, who write, in case this thing happens, it didn't happen yet, it might never happen, but if this occurs, do the following steps. A smart person will follow those steps. So if there's an electrical fire, God forbid, and the intelligent person says what to do, and the unintelligent person starts throwing water on it. He's convinced that the water will put it out, because doesn't water put out a fire? And then after this terrible catastrophe, someone says, why did you not follow the instruction manual? It tells you what to do. It tells you who to call. Well, if smart means following intelligence, what do you think stupid is? Someone who does not follow intelligence. As a matter of fact, one great mind of the 20th century, I don't remember the exact quote, but it went along the lines of someone who repeats an experiment thousands of times with the same result, but keeps on doing it, hoping that there will be a change. Let me bring this into our life. The Bible, the Chumash, in the book of Deuteronomy, describes the Jewish people as a wise and understanding nation. What is wisdom? Well, wisdom is intelligence plus smart equals experience. A wise person follows intelligent design, intelligent rules and regulations. He's smart. He understands that this is not his field, but there are people that have that field. But by actually following it in practice, which we call experience, he becomes a wise person. So this wise person has lived his life following rules and regulations that were instituted by intelligent people. He's very smart. In fact, he's wise. The wisdom is based on the experience. Now, I understand there are many other ways to look at those three words, intelligence, smart, and wisdom, but I would like to posit this as a beginning. So we're called a wise people. Why? Because the supreme intelligence, and that of course is a borrowed term, but the supreme form of intelligence and the origin of intelligence is the Almighty God. And He gives us very detailed rules on how to live. He tells you not only which foods you're allowed to eat, and when are you permitted to work, and who you should marry, or at least permitted to marry, but He goes into the nitty-gritty. When you lay down to go to sleep, do you lie on your left side or on your right side? When you tie your shoes, which shoe goes first? He said, one second, you got to be kidding. There are actually laws about that? Yeah. Because the origin of intelligence, the Almighty God, wants us to be wise. So He gives us detailed instructions. Smart people follow those instructions. So where does that lead to wisdom? Well, I'm here, you're listening. What other nation lives, thrives, and grows some 3,332 years after being given its constitution? There is no other nation. So clearly, the experience of following the intelligent order, certainly that makes us a wise people. Let me carry this perhaps in a different form. God gives us, for example, what we call the dietary laws, or in Hebrew, the laws of kashrut, the laws of kosher. Interesting enough, the laws of kosher are not explainable in logic. So instead of focusing on, well, we don't eat pork because in those days you got trichinosis, chicken is a kosher animal or a kosher fowl, it is. But you can't buy it in Safeway unless it's under a rabbinic, reliable supervision. Well, a chicken is a chicken. What's the difference? Well, the difference is the way it was killed. The difference is the inner organs. The difference is, was it salted in a proper way to take out the blood? Okay. So actually, this is called a chok, inexplainable. It defies a complete logical explanation. But we're smart people. We follow this law because it comes from the Almighty God. And we're wise because experience has shown that keeping the laws of kosher are not only good and beneficial for Jews. And I emphasize for Jews. Not only is it good and beneficial in health, physical and spiritual, but for the nation. How do we keep a scattered people together? One of the most powerful ways people bond is over food. So I run a Chabad house amongst thousands of houses, and almost daily, sometimes during the summer, I get a phone call. Hi, I'm looking for kosher food. Can you direct me? Now, if we did not keep kosher, this Jewish traveler, being outside of his community, would essentially, I'll use the word assimilate, or dissolve into wherever he's going. But because he understands the importance of kosher, he immediately reaches out to the Jewish community. Do you have a kosher store? Do you have a kosher restaurant? And very often it's like, forget it, come to my house, I'll give you a kosher. And from that, beautiful things come. That's wisdom. Following a regulation, which we really don't understand, but we know it to be correct because it's coming from God, and euphemistically speaking, it's coming from intelligence. But because we follow that, the experience has shown the tremendous benefits of kosher. And the same thing would be about Shabbat. Shabbat, though it has a rationale to remind us that a man is not a servant to labor, he's not an ox that was created only to plow the field. No, there's 26 hours of every week which is dedicated to God, community, and family. But all of the details, very hard to explain. You can't carry in public even a key, because it's called a labor. What kind of labor? What has experience shown? That when people keep the Shabbat, they have to stay in a Jewish community if they want to celebrate it and enjoy it. There's so much wisdom. In other words, the experience has shown the longevity and the staying power of these laws. I'm going to go off on a tangent, but just for a moment. I mentioned earlier, to be very blunt with you, stupidity is not following instructions of the intelligence. When we take a look at the state of Israel or the land of Israel, and we contrast its behavior towards its enemies with the way the Torah would want you to treat your enemies, we could actually see the lack of wisdom, because experience has shown we keep on repeating the wrong attitude, and we keep on doing it thousands of times, each time with the same result, which is negative. So let me jump back and end with a more positive thing. We are a wise and an understanding nation. We are a blessed nation. We do not cringe before anyone. We have to stand up tall. It's not the Nobel Prizes that we won that makes us a wise nation. It's allegiance to the Torah and the love of a fellow Jew and the affection that we have towards our heritage that makes us eternal. Let's use our brains, and we will get universal acclaim from the nations around us. Shalom.